All right, let's get started. What up, y'all? It's your boy Don Aljo on the S10 Productions. It's been a little while. This one's gonna be a little bit of a different video. Not really gonna be doing too much of beat making today, unless I feel inclined to. But what today's plan is, hang tight 1 second. Let's put it in the studio mode so I could. Let me save this front camera because I really don't need it right now. All right. Plan for the day is pretty much we're gonna do a little bit of mixing from scratch. Really want to clear my head from just trying to do all this stuff with just like making beats, and really want to just take some time and pay attention to the details of some things tonight. Just so that we can kind of like clear up a lot of different muddiness things. I'm going to start with like a simple loop. We're going to go from there, and then we're going to figure out how we can always, clean all that up to make it run. Excuse me, to make it one nice clip to kind of bring in everything. We're going to use a little bit of different techniques. So hope y'all enjoy this clip and enjoy what y'all watching. Please like and subscribe. I am live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch right now. I think I had one more. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch currently. Not doing Instagram tonight. Even though I should do Instagram, but we're gonna just pay attention to just like how can we clean up a lot of different things with mixes. All right, so pulling up on Studio One right now. Alrighty. Actually, make sure we can put the vert banner on. So this is just a simple beat. You guys probably have heard it before. This one's called "When the Time Is Right." This is just a simple loop that I made, and what I've done in this session basically is turned everything down, all the volumes down, all the loops are down for this. We're gonna start small. I did a little bit with some drums earlier. I'll kind of go through some of the techniques I did with that, and we're just gonna kind of go from there. So this is just a quick 4-bar loop, and we're going to start. I'm gonna start in the same way that I started my beat, which is going to be the melody part, and then we're going to build on that. So there's a couple things we're going to look into when we start. So actually, hang on, make sure. All right. Now, there's a couple things I got to look into here. So let's pull this down. And first, foremost, let's take it off because I want to make sure that we're doing this in the most like harshest conditions. So in this case, there's a lot of mid-range coming out of this sample. So what I'm trying to do right now is pretty much the main purpose is kind of just balance first everything in here. So one thing I'm going to look at real quick is I have a side chain added for that. I want a little bit of pumping into this track than normal. So let's make it dramatic first, and then we'll slowly add back some of the rest of it. Next part we got to add is the hi-hat section. Let's do HH and SHK. We'll do that as hi-hat and shaker. One thing I want to pay attention for this part is that I need to harshen parts of the mix of these hi-hats. These hats can get a little bit rough. So here is the hi-hats. Now let's take this off. And we're going to, let's see. All right, let's enable this real quick so we can show you. That's without. This is at full volume from when I have it. So that's good for what we need for this track, right? So, all right, just gonna take that off. Should be the claps next. This is the, what is this, a crash cymbal? I want to gain some brightness out of this, but nothing too much where keep it balanced, right? I know it's a little bit low with the volume right now, but it's all gonna come together once we kind of add everything up. But it's all about balancing. I'm coming straight. I'm coming kind of like, bare bones without all the extra stuff, just to kind of build everything first. So the next thing I'm going to try to do, let's do this. There's a bass line that we're going to add. Anything from 170 below. Get rid of those lower frequencies that aren't really that necessary for this. You're not going to hear much of that part anyway when I add the bass. What I might do for this is add a little bit of a slight delay. We're going to do this as like 15. Oops. All right, let's talk about this bass line real quick. All right, so far that sounds good. And let's try and go to the guitar part. All right, pause quick. So we're gonna look at this guitar section here, right? So here's the GTR, and here's that sample, right? So basically what I did while looking for was trying to add fullness, right? Adding fullness for that that sample section. So so we'll take it off the filter. So I'm going to add that with this. And then here's the extra string part. And I'm gonna make sure to do my due diligence, get rid of all the frequencies that aren't really necessary for that part. It's all strings, so it's mostly gonna be mids to highs. So I'm gonna maybe start around. I'm gonna start at 500 on the clip before the curve. So if you look at where the when you look at how the bands are here, let's take it off. There is some like slight body in there, but not enough for it. We're just gonna. Okay, that's good. All right, so hang on, make sure y'all can still see me. All right, cool. All right, so here's the strings. So again, the main purpose of what I'm doing tonight, again, is all about the attention to detail, right? So I know that I got to clean out a lot of stuff out of here. So for an example, here's a couple things. I got 2 limiters running on this right now, 2 which I don't need. Why do I need 2 limiters running? Let's get rid of the limiters first off. All right. I'm going to turn this off, actually. And I'm going to go and look at my metering. I'm right now about 6. So I'm just looking for my peaks, just in this one area. So one thing I am noticing now is that the strings part is too loud. And the sample's not loud enough. So let's do it with the auto filter that I'm having for like maybe my chorus part for this track. So I still got the body, right? Because I'm still gonna rely on that string section there. So I'm gonna say PIZZ. That's for pizzicato strings. But what I'm looking for, hang on, let me go and add input controls. I like having that just as a rule of thumb. So my favorite part, let's look at the compression. So it's a nice balanced track, kind of like where everything is feeling at right now. So now I'm gonna get to the next part, which is what I do for my shortcut of mastering. Like I said, I'm still a work in progress. We're doing this all in real time, so everything ain't gonna be perfect. So, but what I like to do is have a preset made. Actually, I'm gonna make a preset of this tonight. That's gonna be the first thing I do. So load preset file. Is there a preset file for this? No. Okay. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna make a mid-side preset. So my main rule of thumb that I like to use, and this just came from people that I've talked to in college, and what they've kind of suggested to me. Forgive me for the light being off randomly. Oh, this thing is almost dead. Okay. Hold tight. Alexa, white light. All right. Gonna rock with the home light tonight because my my long-lasting battery finally reached its end for the evening. So, got to give this thing a lot of credit though, because I didn't expect this thing to last as long as it did. But at any rate, back into business here. Basically, what I try to do is the most of the rule of thumb that I've heard and what people have told me is to take your sides, which is your differences in panning. So anything in your sides is going to be more of your high mids to high frequencies that take care of your hi-hats, your cymbals, most of your ranges where through reverb, that's going to be in that mid to high range. Anything below low range, you want to kind of cut off. So the first thing that we're going to take care of first is I'm going to make a side, and I'm going to do a low cut. And I'm going to make a preset first, and then we're going to see what the frequencies is, and then we'll start making the minor changes that we need to. So the first rule of thumb is, let's go. I'm going to start this bottom curve at about 100, and we're going to go somewhere between, looks like 4. Let's say 450. All right. And then we're going to take this. I'm going to go to my mid section. This is one thing I liked about FabFilter Pro is like it allows you to kind of do it here rather than having to make like 2 separate tracks to kind of balance mid and low. So I'm going to do this. So right now you notice I put a low cut. Now I'm going to make the mid, and I'm going to make a low shelf of the mid section right around that same range, that same 450 range. And we're going to just do a slight, let's do like 0.5. All right. So let's do 0.5. And maybe we might go a little bit higher. But rule of thumb, so now I can know what I may have lost here, I can gain back in that low frequencies here. And then the last thing that I usually like to do is anything in, I want to say, let's go like 8,000 hertz. All right. And we're going to make a high shelf, similar to how we did with the low shelf, but we're going to do it with the sides. Now it kind of brings a little bit of airiness, some brightness in that section. But nothing too harsh. But I do that right before I do my limiting. And basically, so now we're going to listen to what we have now and figure out what we need to adjust. And then we'll kind of just listen in between. So right now you're listening to that low cut side of what we taken out. Sides here, a little bit of airiness, right? That's that side. That's the high shelf. We got our mid and our low shelf. Parts of that I don't really need, so I just make up for it here. All right, so let's go and talk about this Fab filter. This preset was granted to me by one of my former professors, Peter Denningberg. I'm still working on the process of that, but I'll kind of just show you some of the processes that he did with one song that I did back in college that I've used as a rule of thumb, and then I just kind of just go from there and figure out what exactly I need to do. So the first thing that he talked about when we did this is he likes to have the output 1 dB below. Usually the way that ends up becoming is if you have to gain, you still will be under that threshold that you actually need. So that's the first rule of thumb. Oversampling is going to be at 4x. Dither is going to be at 24 bits. It's going to be at maximize. Noise shaping is going to be optimize. All right. Let's go to the advanced section here. So his rule, he's got about 0.5 as a look ahead. He has I want to say a medium attack. It's not a slow attack, but it's not an ultra fast attack. It's like right smack dab in the middle. So you have a medium attack around 250, and then around 500 milliseconds. I'm dealing with the release. All right. So let me go ahead and I'm losing battery here on my iPad. I'm using for my other touchpad, but now here's my release at 50. Channel linking. So he has a transient. By the way, transient style is at transparent. Channel linking has transient is about 60%, and then the stereo link release is all the way at 100. I'm not sure, that's probably the default that it is. Like I said, this is all a work in progress. Actually, before we get to that part and adding that, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna use this as a default, and then I can make this as a preset for the next time I want to use it. So for those of you guys who are using Studio One that are watching right now, or watching later, I'm gonna store this preset, and we're just gonna call this mid side. We're gonna call this the S-Time Productions STP. It's an HCP preset. There you go. We're gonna put this in. Won't put this in the subfolder. This is just. We're just gonna call it the default mid side pre, and we're gonna press OK. Now I have that as my default, so the next time I want to go into there, I could use my my mid-side preset and that fab filter. Now I'm gonna go into my limiter and let's just activate it, and then we'll just kind of go from there. Next thing I want to actually, before we get to that, actually as I'm doing this, I'm gonna show you two different meters. This K12 meter was something that I kind of learned a little bit from my man Joel Gilder, and how to try to do gain staging. I'm still working on trying to build that. So part of it basically is, this is not your, if you go past 0, this is it. This is your energy meter pretty much. So now that we have the filter kind of where it is, this is just the energy meter to kind of bring stuff up and figure it out. How to do the right amount of compression and limiting, and try to bring it all together. So, just create with an old version. After saving, you'll not be able to load this in the old version again. Yes. By the way, we're running on Studio 1.5. So that's probably why it's asking me that. I haven't loaded it since we downloaded 5. I've been using 4 for a while, so this is my first time using it. But pretty much all in all, that's kind of the basis of what we're trying to aim for when doing. Basically, what I aim for when I'm trying to do mixing is try to aim for a balance. It's just kind of like today. Just kind of felt like, well, let's kind of clear a couple things and figure out what's the best option to kind of just like really start stuff over again and really like look at this from a strategic standpoint rather than from a creative standpoint. So usually the way I go by trying to produce by default is go from what you feel when you start, and then at the end of the day, go back to it later and come back and start doing the strategic stuff and figure out how to make it sound clean. Okay. Is it always going to be loud and proud and playing loudness wars with everybody? Absolutely not. I mean, we could try to do loudness wars till we're blue in the face, and sometimes it works for some, and most of the times it doesn't for others. So, you know, pretty much your main thing at this point is just figuring out what works best for you. Okay, so don't feel like you got to be obligated on trying to you got to mix stuff a certain way. It's not always gonna work like that. So pretty much that's kind of where we at with that. So I'm gonna stop here, and we're just gonna end it here. Guys, thank y'all for watching. If you guys need any more information, you guys can go to minilink.com. I actually have a new page I'm going to be updating. It's called solo.to/STimeProductions. It's a little bit of a more cleaner look as far as some of my how to kind of view most of my content. I am on TikTok now. I got a couple things on TikTok. I did a mix that I did with basically just a remix beat that I was just kind of feeling with from Taylor Gordon, aka the Pocket Queen, when she did one of her PQ challenges. I also did a tribute to the great DMX, kind of mixing with some of my old stuff. So maybe that's something you guys might enjoy, and just kind of going from that. So you know, go ahead and to my TikTok. It's Time Productions. Go ahead and hit my Facebook, my Twitter, Twitch. All the stuff is going to be at the bottom. Check out that new album that I just put out, DCR, Destroy, Cleanse, Rebuild, and just kind of go and just support the group, man. So thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all later. Peace out. Speaks everything into existence. Invest, involve, and evolve. Deuces. Have a good night, y'all.